Benner ankle tackled as he moved across the 30. Kurt Bauber, backup linebacker, made the stop.
And again, there's the wind blowing, and you can see it's very brisk here now, and Boomer's into the wind, but the Jets kickoff was not, again, what Bruce Coslett would like. Ball's on the 34-yard line on that angle kick. Had they kicked it straight away with the wind, I think the ball would have been on the 20.
So Cincinnati opening up this third quarter, first down, just inside the 35. Harold Green is the running back. Esiason, short pickup. Mo Lewis right on the scene with the tight end, Rodney Holman. Well, the Cincinnati Bengals have abandoned the no huddle at the request of that man, Boomer Esiason. And David Shula saying that they've just made too many mistakes in running the no huddle.
Well, they had too many young guys, and he felt it was causing more problems than it was producing offense. So naturally, it's better to be back in the huddle if you can communicate better.
Harold Green is stopped by Marvin Washington, who has had another strong game. Washington back from arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder, fourth year out of Idaho. Already he's had 6 sacks to equal his career high.
And he's the one that's been filling in for Jeff Lageman, you know, the kind of the bellwether on the Jets defense. And Washington, I think, has done a very, very good job filling in for Lageman. And now, along with Bird and Washington and Lageman, the Jets are set with 3 pretty young defensive ends.
Injury to Lageman severely hurting the Jets. He's out for the season. It's picked off on a deflection. Marcus Turner comes up with the interception, his first of the season. Marcus Turner, 4-year player from UCLA. Pass intended for Jets Query. Here it is.
Well, Boomer just throws the ball a little bit inside Query, who just deflects it. Turner's right there for the reception, and now the Jets have excellent field position again to start the second half, just like they had the first half.
Marcus Turner, originally 11th round draft pick of Kansas City, was on to Phoenix, signed as a Plan B free agent back in March by the Jets. Jets first down from their 48. Baxter picks up a couple. It'll be a 2nd and 8.
Well, there's nose tackle Tim Crumry working against both Cadigan and Sweeney. Splits the double team and makes an outstanding play on Brad Baxter. Tim Crumry is, of course, the guy that's been playing up front the longest for the Bengals around this rest of this young defense they have now.
Second down play at midfield. Baxter. Well, Brad Baxter continues to run well. 13 carries, 40 yards, stopped by McDonald. Back to the subject of Tim Crumry, David Shula saying that, and he said this with affection, as I know you have labeled other players, that Tim is a nasty type player, and you need that to win.
Well, you know, you can't be anything but that, Marv, if you're going to play nose tackle in the National Football League. And those guys are kind of have their own mindset because, you know, there's most of the time they're fighting 2 blockers every play, and they know it's going to be a long day when they go out there to play nose tackle.
It's a 3rd and 1. Baxter with the big hole has a first down and some additional yardage. Baxter inside the 30, stopped by Fulcher and Williams. A 14-yard run for Brad Baxter.
Well, on Cincinnati's defense, every man is responsible for a gap, and that gap responsibility was number 56, Ricardo McDonald, who got pushed past the hole. Now, Crumry fighting this time with Cadigan and stumbles in an effort to get Baxter and the Jets again in scoring range.
First down at the 28-yard line. Burkett, 87, in motion. Big hole for Chafee. Strong safety David Fulcher on the stop. And Pat Chafee goes for 13. He's a second-year player out of Oregon State, a one-time Atlanta Falcon, another Plan B pickup.
Yeah, but, you know, I think I could have got through that hole for about 10 myself. And the Jets' offensive line, Eatman and White and Sweeney and Criswell and Cadigan right now are dominating the Cincinnati defense. And I think Bruce Coslet would be determined to just run this ball in the end zone if he can.
First down at the 15. 4.5 gone by in the third. And again, it's Chafee. That is only his 10th carry of the season. Mike Fryer made the stop, and Pat Chafee averaging about 9 yards per carry.
And the Jets using him behind the 3 tight ends, and Cincinnati substituting that third safety. Now the Jets have changed their personnel, so you can look for Cincinnati to make some adjustments in their defensive personnel.
Jets today without Blair Thomas, who has certainly had his ups and downs. He's been a major disappointment, but he's out with a groin injury. And have not missed him. They've done very well on the ground. Here's a reverse for Terrence Mathis, and he scores! The crowd enjoyed that one. Nagel to McNeil to Mathis coming around the end and runs it in for the touchdown. The Jets with a 16-0 lead. Here's Carrie Blanchard. 9:32 to go in the third. The Jets up 17-0.
Baxter there. They run the sweep and hand it to Mathis on the reverse. And you see Baxter making the real good block on top of the screen. And Mathis is able to clear the corner with another blocker in front. And really, he just trots in for a touchdown.
This is about as impressive as we have seen the Jets' offensive line. They are doing it against a Cincinnati team that is 27th in total defense, and the Jets on the ground have been very successful this year.
Oh, that's right, but David Schuler really has to be disappointed in what happened here to start the second half. You know, they stayed out of trouble the first half, although they didn't have the ball much. They weren't down by too big of a score, and then to come out and turn the ball over right away and spot the Jets another 7 to start the second half has to be a little disconcerting for David Schuler.
Yes, the key play of that interception off the deflection by Marcus Turner to get possession, and the Jets able to march down the field, and they did it on the ground.
Yeah, they did, and I think Bruce Coslet was saying, hey, no more fooling around. We've had great field position all day, and we haven't scored too many points. This time, we're just going to line up and bring it right at you and see what you can do.
Aguiar with the kickoff again, angles to the far side for Fenner. And a penalty marker is down as Fenner reaches out to the 39-yard line. Good return by Derek Fenner. A.B. Brown made the stop. Referee is Gary Lane.
Illegal fair catch signal on the return team. 5-yard penalty. Be 5 yards from the spot of the infraction.
Well, that illegal fair catch is when the defender or receiver puts his hands up in front of his eyes. Fenner, the Bengal receiver there changes his mind on that fair catch signal. He was going to fair catch, but if he's going to do it, what constitutes a valid signal is waving your hand over your head clearly to the defense. He changed his mind in midstream, and therefore it's an invalid catch and a penalty.
And now we're set to resume. Cincinnati penalized off that fair catch that was attempted by Fenner, and then he changed his mind. Harold Green stopped by Scott Mercereau.
Brought down by Scott Mercereau.
The Jets 17 and the Bengals nothing. Well, Houston, Minnesota tied at 10 in the third. Look at Kansas City walloping Washington in the third.
Washington having their problems. It looks like Philadelphia is having some too up in Green Bay, 14-10.
Second down and 9 from the 18-yard line. And Esiason completes to the tight end Rodney Holman, met by the right corner James Hasty. It is short of a first down. Now check that. They pick up the first down. Goes for 10. Ball spotted at the 28-yard line.
Well, if Cincinnati's going to have any chance to get back in this game, they're methodically going to have to drive the ball for some kind of score and hope they get the win in the fourth quarter with a little momentum.
Back to the ground, Harold Green brings to the 33. Dennis Byrd made the stop. Dennis Byrd returning to the starting lineup last week in Denver, back from a separated shoulder, playing with a harness. Now here's a guy who made the move from defensive tackle. The Jets hoping to take advantage of his speed. He was getting pushed around a bit in the middle and was worn down, according to the coaches, at the end of the game.
Well, Pete Carroll also told us that Dennis is playing with a little bit of a harness on, and he's not quite the pass rusher yet as he was earlier in the season.
Second down, 5 at the 33. Esiason going the middle. Goes to the tight end Riggs, met by Clifton.
Also, Pete Carroll mentioned to us that because of the loss of Byrd for a while and Jeff Lageman, their pass rusher, that he doesn't feel that they can really pressure the quarterback with just 4 guys anymore, and that's why you're seeing them do a little bit more blitzing than they have in the past. He would really like to be able to pressure with 4, but they feel like they got to rush 5 or 6 to get to the quarterback now.
Crowd trying to encourage the defense. Third down, 1 at the 37. Green on a slant has the first down, covered up by Scott Mercereau. 6.5 to go in the third quarter. It's the Jets 17 and the Bengals nothing.
1 yard gain. First down from the 38.
Well, if the first 3 words you think of when you hear the word chip, and it's knocked down by Byrd.
Boomer Esiason coming out to his right. It's a little more difficult for a lefty to come out to his right. As you see, he has to turn, set back to his natural throwing side, and that allows Byrd to jump up and bat the ball down. But it's a good play by Byrd. Now, see, the Jets have their young linebacker Barber in the game, number 98. Also, Bruce Kozlik said he'd play, and he's playing right next to Byrd.
Kurt Barber, second-round draft pick out of University of Southern California. Harold Green for a yard, hit by Paul Fraze.
The Jets have to be pleased with the overall way that their defense is playing today. They haven't given up any big plays. They've been around the ball. They're there for some tip balls, and I think the integration of some of these new players into the lineup, like Barber and some of their young guys, are going to serve the Jets well down the line.
It's a third down and 8. Esiason, only 7 of 15, 75 yards. That comes out to about 5 yards per completion. Esiason facing the pressure. Could not find anyone, and let's see, tried to put it down. That'll be intentional grounding.
Well, Boomer was able to see the blitz coming that time. That was that double safety blitz that the Jets sacked them with earlier in the game, and he saw it coming that time and escaped it, but it looks like he, grounded the ball, and, that's loss of down and everything else.
Illegal forward pass. Number 7 on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down. Fourth down.
Both of these guys coming off the corner at Esiason, that same blitz that they used earlier in the game to sack him, and you see that the Bengals have it pretty well picked up, but Boomer, in an effort to find the receiver, just decides to throw the ball away and tries to pull it down, really. That's what happened. He changed his mind.
That's
threw
an
it right
illegal,
into the ground.
Illegal forward pass. He was past the line of scrimmage.
False start. Number 50 in the offense before the snap. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Well, it gets worse and worse for Cincinnati. The punting unit is in. Rob Carpenter is back, waiting for the Lee Johnson punt, his 4th attempt. We have 5:04 to go in the third quarter, and the Jets in front of Cincinnati 17-0. David Shula, one-time offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Dallas, and then moved on to Cincinnati last year as receivers coach. And Carpenter calls for the fair catch.
Carpenter takes the fair catch.
A 48-yard punt.
21-yard line.
4:57 remaining in the third. He is Johnny Mitchell, the rookie tight end from Nebraska, only 21 years old. He left after his sophomore season, back from a shoulder separation, #1 draft pick of the Jets.
Well, leaving after his sophomore season, it's why he hasn't played as much as they'd like to play him. And they have to make sure he knows what to do. So Bruce Conslett inserts him, then takes him out, then puts him back in an effort to keep him going mentally as far as his assignments go.
Baxter for a short pickup. Lamar Rogers made the stop. Johnny Mitchell has come a long way. He was born on the south side of Chicago, raised by his grandparents in a small town in Mississippi, which he says is in the poorest county in America. Bottom line, went back to Chicago, lived with his folks, finished high school there. Says the reason he came out early after his sophomore season was because his grandfather was sick and was living in such terrible conditions he wanted to buy him a new house. Baxter gets the call, which he did.
Well, when we were at practice the other day, he was also getting some special attention from the head coach, Bruce Conslett, because way down at the other end of the field, while the remainder of practice was going on, there was Bruce Conslett coaching Johnny Mitchell just in a one-on-one session. So Bruce is making every effort to make sure that Mitchell has some success in his Jet career, and that's the way any head coach should try to do it with a top draft pick.
And Johnny Mitchell did buy a new home for his 82-year-old grandfather, Joe T. Mitchell. Thought he wanted to give something back. Nagel did not find anyone. Well, he fired a bullet, incomplete, intended for Rob Moore, covered by Rod Jones.
Well, Browning-Nagel just wants to make sure that he doesn't make the big mistake here in an effort not to let Cincinnati back in the game. So he was wise to throw the ball on the sideline there and not risk an interception like throwing it back over the middle of the field or something like that. So that really was good judgment on the part of Nagel.
Only the second punt for Aguilar. Pickens is back. Carl Pickens, very dangerous, averaging 16 yards per punt return to lead the NFL. No snap. Handled well by Aguilar. Pickens running away from Burkett, who's able to hang right with him. Good play by Burkett, 45-yard punt, only a 3-yard return.
July.
Against Buffalo, Amy working the sideline, handling the wires behind her dad. She had received good grades in school, and Bruce promised that she'd be able to be on the sideline, and she was for that Jet-Buffalo game Monday night, so she got the network exposure. Amy said she wanted a little regional exposure, Bill, so she's working the game here today.
Well, it looks like to me the Coslets and the Alberts like to keep it all in the family there.
Very nice, Bill. First out of the 31. Intended for Pickens. Do you have your daughters who are working the sideline with you?
I'm glad there wasn't any precedent for daughters on the sideline, because I had 3 of them, and I don't know, maybe I have to rotate them down there once every 3 weeks, but this is the first time I've seen a coach's daughter on the sideline, but I kind of think it's pretty nice. She's carrying the wires around, but the language may not be to her liking down there once in a while.
Well, from time to time, we've seen Bruce's son, J.J., 17 years old, who is a tackle at Garden City High School. Long out. Picked off. Was he inbounds? No. Kyle Clifton did not have possession. He bobbled it. It was intended for McGee, and Clifton did not have possession inbound.
Well, the rule is you have to have both feet down and possession of the ball, and then Clifton's juggling it, and he doesn't have possession with the both feet down, and that's why they called it an incompletion.
Mark Gunn of the Jets, second-year man from Pittsburgh, shaken up. We'll be right back. Very cool and crisp day at Giant Stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands. Marv Albert with Bill Parcells. 3 minutes remaining, third quarter. Jets lead 17-0. Bengals 3rd and 10 from their 31. Esiason's pass intended for McGee.
Number 2, McGee. James safety on coverage. 4th and 10 from the 31.
Boomer has plenty of time to read the coverage there, but his hand is hit just as he attempts to get the ball off, and
Johnson is in punt formation.
you know, there's no receiver near where the ball was batted to, so Bengals have to punt again.
Been a long day for Boomer Esiason. Lee Johnson punting to Rob Carpenter. Carpenter getting across the 30-yard line. Craig Thompson on the stop, a 44-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Well, next Sunday, NBC Sports will present a doubleheader beginning 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL.
They're on right now, Marvin. You know, they were big favorites to win that Central, and right now they're in a fight for any playoffs at all.
Yes, Warren Moon has been having his problems. Brad Baxter got the call. Gary Reasons, the one-time Giant, very familiar with the setting here at Giant Stadium, making the stop.
Gary's been a good addition to the Bengals. You know, he's a very smart, aware player, and you know, you see him calling the defensive signals there, and he's got Ricardo McDonald, number 56, a young rookie next to him, and you know, he can kind of run your defense for you. He's been in the league 9 years, and he ran our defense there with the Giants for 4 or 5 years and did a good job doing it.
Last week led Cincinnati in tackles with 7, and the win over the Bears. Second down and 9 from the 33. Nagel off the fake. Oh, he came up empty. And it looks like Cincinnati has recovered.
Well, you know, that's the big mistake that I'm certain Bruce Coslett was hoping to avoid. It's a heavy blitz situation. Both linebackers coming up the middle. Again, the quarterback making that hard play action fake. Nagel not able to get the ball off. It slips out of his hand there, and it goes right into the hands of Alonzo Mitz, number 99. And now the Bengals, if they could get this in and get the win in the fourth quarter, have a chance to make a game out of it.
And this, the best field position all day for Cincinnati. Earlier, they had reached the 32. That was just before the half. First down at the 22-yard line. Play action by Esiason. And let's see, was that picked off? No, it was not. He took a shot from Marvin Washington.
Well, what happens here, both of these quarterbacks are schooled to make those hard play fakes, and Boomer makes his, and just as he's attempting to throw the ball, Washington's coming in off that left side, and, you know, Boomer doesn't see him coming. Hard fake, looking for the receiver. He doesn't have that feel, and Washington is the big pressure guy for the Jets.
Second down and 10 at the Jet 22. Green on a sweep. And that was well covered by the Jets, led by Kyle Clifton.
This is the kind of response, though, that Bruce Coslett, Pete Carroll, the Jets defensive coordinator, hope that the Jets will take this turnover as a challenge. You want your defense to go out there and hopefully hold them to 3 points in the bad field position that they've been put in. So you see Pete Carroll signaling his nickel defense into the game, and look for them to blitz again, because that's how he feels, and it's been proven throughout the course of the game the best way to get to Boomer.
It's third down and 10. Just under 1 minute left, third quarter, penalty flag thrown.
Start. Offense, number 78, before the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Well, that's the same situation that came up with Jeff Criswell against Alfred Williams. Now we have Anthony Munoz moving against Washington, and, you know, Washington's been the one back there, so he was just trying to get a little jump.
It sets it back to a third and 15 at the 27. Been a lively crowd here in the second half. Esiason looking down the field and goes incomplete. Carl Pickens in the area.
I think Boomer expected Pickens to run a little bit more of a turn-in pattern there, and Pickens just kind of stopped on the spot. I think Boomer's anticipating him coming a little further inside than he came, and, you know, Pickens just kind of stops right there.
Esiason 7 of 20, and he's gone incomplete his last 7. Pete Carroll enjoyed that. 44-yard field goal attempt for Jim Breach, not noted for long distance. No good. So David Schuler looking to get something out of it. But with 39 seconds remaining third quarter, the score remains Jets 17, Bengals nothing, and now the Jets take over.
Well, that's an opportunity gone by for the Bengals. I think, you know, they have to feel like there was a chance to get back in the game, and they go in there. The Jet defense does a good job, gets them 3 and out. Really, the Bengals didn't have any positive plays in that possession. They wind up missing a field goal, and unless the Jets make a lot of key mistakes in the fourth quarter, I think the Bengals are going to have trouble catching them.
First down at the 27, a hole opens for Baxter. Reaches out to the 31, met by James Francis from his outside linebacker position. 18 carries, 65 yards for Baxter.
Well, Bruce Coslett, too, I think now will be in the mode offensively of not taking too many chances as the fourth quarter starts, because, you know, he just dodged a big bullet right there, and I'm sure he doesn't want to let Cincinnati back in it, and the only way he can do that is if they turn the ball over.
Well, Nagel has thrown the ball only twice in the third quarter, so he has been keeping it on the ground. That's the end of the third. We'll be right back after these messages from your Jets with a 17-0 lead on Cincinnati. The Jets have a second down and 6 at their 31-yard line. The quarterback is Browning Nagel, second-round draft pick last season. Won the starting job over Ken O'Brien, who reported late after holding out. O'Brien had started the last 22 regular season games. And you hear the whistles as A.B. Brown got the call. But the play was blown dead.
That's going to be a false start on the Jets.
False start. Please reset the game clock to 15. Thank you. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
False starts the left tackle, Jeff Criswell, moving in an effort to cut off Alonzo Mitz. You know, Mitz had inside position, and Criswell was anxious to cut him off since the play was going the other way, and he false started.
So it's a second down and 11. Criswell and Eatman at the tackles. White and Cadigan the guards. The center is Sweeney. Well, Baxter lost his balance. And it's a loss on the play. Lamar Rogers able to get to him.
Sometimes you don't pick your foot up on that AstroTurf, and you know, you just catch that toe, or you can really go down very, very quickly, and that's something that doesn't happen on the grass as much, but the cleats catch so much in the AstroTurf. There you see Ken O'Brien loosening up a little bit, just in case.
Well, Ken O'Brien had an excellent game against Miami 2 weeks ago for the injured Browning Nagel. He was inserted last week to run a 2-minute drill at the end of the first half in Denver. It's juggled and then tossed up. Ricardo McDonald not able to intercept, and it's ruled incomplete.
But these are the things here that you live with when you have a first-year quarterback. Browning Nagel throwing the ball down the field. Now, he was under pressure, but there's no sense with a 17-0 lead trying to make these kind of plays at this stage in the game. All you're doing there is giving the opponents an opportunity to come back. And I'm sure Bruce Coslett, you know, after 2 in a row, is going to speak with Nagel about being a little better, taking better care of the ball.
Cincinnati with only 7 interceptions this season. And McDonald could not hang on. Fair catch, this time handled by Pickens. 41-yard punt for Aguiar. We'll be back in a moment. 41-yard line with a minute gone by in the fourth quarter. How does David Shula play it here?
Well, I think, you know, if you're the Bengals, you've got to think about going into your 2-minute offense here pretty quickly. You've got to score 3 times, and you know, you're not sure you can even get the ball back enough to, unless you score pretty quickly. So look for them to maybe go with a 2-minute offense here pretty quickly.
And Boomer has not had a good one. Here's Green reaching out to the 40. Stopped by Kyle Clifton. Boomer Esiason 7 for 20 and 0 for his last 7. Not completed his last 7 attempts.
Here they go with that 2-minute offense that we anticipated. You know, Boomer knows he's got to score quickly. Jets on a blitz.
2nd and 6, and Esiason throws deep for McGee. Covered by James Hasty. We're set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Trailing virtually the entire game, Cleveland finally takes the lead at home. Mike Tomczak steps away from the rush, throws on the run. Nice catch by Michael Jackson. 24-yard TD caps a 99-yard 10-play drive with 6:40 to play in the game. They lead 10-7 over San Diego.
Thank you, Bob. 3rd down 6 for Cincinnati from the 40-yard line. 80 Pickens in motion. Here's Fenner. And Derek Fenner able to pick his way for a first down. Derek Fenner was a 10th round draft choice of Seattle back in 1988 in his 4th NFL season out of North Carolina. He's averaging just under 4 yards per carry, and they are into the hurry-up. First down at the 48. Minute and a half gone by, fourth quarter. Jets 17, and the Bengals nothing. Short route for Fenner. And he's brought down by the combination of Clifton and Lewis.
Well, this 2-minute offense can do an awful lot to tire your defense out. If you got to play 2-minute defense the whole quarter, and Boomer knows that, and you know that sometimes will slow the pass rush down, and Boomer hasn't had a very good day, 8 for 22 to this point for 82 yards.
Draw play for Fenner. And a first down collected by the Bengals. Brian Washington made the stop.
This is exactly what David Shula and Boomer had hoped would happen now. They're in field goal range here, and having to score 3 times, it doesn't make any difference when you get what. I think he'll try to drive it all the way in if he can, but...
First down at the 32. Off the pump, Fenner. Tackled at the 26 by Washington. Brian Washington last week had a terrific game in Denver. 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 7 tackles. He has been on a tear the past 5 games.
Well, he's the guy that was out of football for a year and then came back. You know, he worked in a restaurant and decided playing football was a lot better than working in a restaurant, so he's back and playing well.
Second down and 4. Esiason's pass intended for Pickens. Penalty flag thrown. Eric McMillan will be called for interference.
Well, Pickens had inside position there, and Boomer recognized it and just gunned it. McMillan was, you know, in an effort to prevent the touchdown, draped all over him.
Defensive pass interference, number 22, spot foul, first down.
Top of the screen, Pickens beats McMillan inside, and you see McMillan's on his back. Plays the play a little better than I thought, but it looks like he has his right hand hooked around Pickens' waist.
Well, the Jets received a key call in the first half down at the 5. Now the interference setting up the good opportunity for Cincinnati. Green stopped by Fraze. Stopped at the line. The last time the Jets have shut out an opponent was back November of 1982. They did it. That's how far back it is, Bill, when the Colts of Indianapolis were in Baltimore. 37-0. 10 years ago. They lead 17-0 here. Esiason intended for the backup tight end, Craig Thompson, covered by Bobby Houston.
Well, you have to credit the Jets defense there, though. That pattern was perfectly covered. There you see Dennis Byrd going off, probably has re-bruised that shoulder that's been giving him problem all year, but the Jets defense had that play defense perfectly, and Boomer just had to throw it away.
It's a 3rd and goal at the 5. The home crowd urging the Jet defense on.
If they can hold them to 3 here, it would be a victory of sorts for the Jets defense and make them kick a field goal, and they'd still be in good shape.
4 wideouts for the Bengals. To the draw for Fenner, and he can walk in. Derek Fenner for the touchdown. Derek playing to the crowd as he spoils the shutout bid.
Well, what happens there, they get in the 4 wide situation, and, you know, we've seen this many times this year. That kind of creates a man-to-man defensive situation. The linemen are in a pass rush mode, everybody up the field, and it's really easy, an easy touchdown. They just spread the middle, and Fenner's right in easily.
Now they try for the point after by Breach. 9 plays, 65 yards in 3 minutes, 10 seconds, capped off by the 5-yard run by Fenner. 7 at halftime in Chicago and came from behind, sent the game into overtime and came up winning by the score of 31-28. Well, the Cincinnati Bengals very much alive and getting on the board, trimming that Jet lead to 17-7.
Well, particularly with the wind in their favor now, they should be able to hold the Jets deep if their defense can do a good job, and Boomer should be back in good field position again.
And they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Oh, Johnson puts it beyond the end zone.
Well, Bruce Coslet would like a nice ball control, 6-minute drive here, whether it results in points or not, that pins Cincinnati way back at the other end of the field. Cincinnati, on the other hand, has got to make every effort here to get the Jets off the field in 3 plays and get their offense back out there, needing at least 2 scores to tie.
10 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Marv Albert with Bill Parcells from Giant Stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands. '85 more in motion. Baxter. Short pickup stopped by Alfred Williams. It'll be a 2nd down and 7. Bruce Coslet, the one-time offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals and a one-time Bengal. In fact, Bill, here's one of his 9 career touchdowns while playing for Cincinnati from 1969 through 76. He was the special teams captain for 6 of those years and had the honor of being the backup tight end to the immortal Bob Trumpy. Draw play for Baxter. Baxter to the 25. It'll set up a 3rd down and 5.
Well, you hear the crowd reacting to those 2 running plays, but what Bruce Coslet is trying to do here is challenge his offensive linemen. Say, hey, fellas, we can put this game out of reach if you'll just get us some first downs here and move that clock along, get it down to about 3 or 4 minutes. Now they got a 3rd and 5 and probably in the passing situation.
Nagel out of the shotgun. It's broken up. Intended for more. Good play by Ricky Dixon.
Well, Cincinnati's defense did its job. Ricky Dixon gets his hand in front of Rob Moore, brings up the punting situation, and I'm certain Boomer will be right back in his 2-minute offense. And right now, if I'm standing on that Jet sideline, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous.
Browning Nagel in the 2nd half, 0 for 4. Aguiar will punt from his 10. The deep man is Carl Pickens. Burkett, number 87, following the flight of the ball. A 38-yard punt. Boomer Esiason of the offense moving back onto the field.
Passer. Besides leading the NFL in passing 3 times, he also led 2 different teams to the NFL championship, becoming the only quarterback to beat Vince Lombardi's Packers in a title game. Who was this legend? A true legend of the game.
The Cincinnati drive, Jets defensively played it very conservatively. What do you look for here?
Well, the success they've had against Boomer today is when they blitzed their safety. So if Boomer gets another drive started like he had there, look for the Jets to use some change-up strategy.
Dennis Bird was forced out on that last series. We're told jammed his shoulder, but he's all right. And he is checked back in. Cincinnati starts from the 37. Down 17-7 to the Jets. 9:18 remaining in the 4th quarter. Esiason had it knocked away and then is able to recover.
Well, that's just what we were looking for. They blitzed number 57, Mo Lewis, and he was able to push the pocket and cause the pressure. Here he comes off the right side. Green trying to block him, but he just runs through Green and strips Esiason of the ball.
From the 29.
Third sack of the day, credited to the Jets. Cincinnati with the 4 wideouts. Esiason throwing it, picked off by Mike Grimm. So Grimm, with his 5th interception of the season, he is among the leaders in that department. And Esiason, throwing the middle, is intercepted for the 13th time this season.
Boomer's trying to get it all back at once, and he has the receivers going down the seam. Good pressure again, up the middle pressure this time, but he throws it inside, and the ball's intercepted here. And you know, the Jets defense did a good job, and as I said, they changed up their strategy. They went after him on first down, and of course David Shula not too happy about that set of circumstances.
So another takeaway for the Jets, and they take over at their 28 with 8:52 to go on the 4th. Nagel is 0 for 5 in the second half and 0 for his last 9. That goes back to the second quarter. He has not had a good ball game.
Well, that pass play there surprises me just a little bit, because you know, that doesn't take any time off the clock, and right now the clock is the Jets' ally, and you know, you would think they would try to take some off if they could.
The Jets 2nd and 10 at their 28. A.B. Brown for a short pickup. Tim Crumry made the stop. A.B. Brown, a guy who's made it back from reconstructive knee surgery, got the call. Well, looking ahead to tonight, a special 2:30. We approach 8 minutes remaining on the 4th. Nagel able to pick it for Terrence Mathis, who has had a very good day. Eric Thomas made the stop with Mathis, who scored earlier on that reverse.
Mathis just working down the field, turning out. Nagel pulls the ball down there and is able to get it to him. And, you know, that's a very, very big completion for Browning Nagel. And now I'm sure you'll see them put the ball on the ground for a while.
The Jets pick up a first down. Jets have run on 16 of their last 18 first down plays. And they have a first down at the 39. And again to the run. A.B. Brown is stopped behind the line by Alfred Williams.
Cincinnati just gets too much penetration there. Both the tackle and the guard are beaten very badly, and Williams and Mitz are both in the backfield and make the tackle on Brown. And Cincinnati might consider calling a timeout here after second down. They don't want to let the time go down to where they're not going to have the opportunity to win the game, so they got to start thinking about a timeout here pretty soon.
Jets second down and 14, back at their 35. Again it's Brown, and again he's stopped behind the line. Alfred Williams in on the tackle, and a timeout has been called. Well, Bill, as you indicate, the Bengals do call the timeout. Clock is stopped with 6:19 remaining in the 4th quarter.
I think that's very, very good clock management by David Shula, because he knows it's easier to stop the clock when you're on offense, and having the 3 timeouts left and needing 2 scores, he knows that he's going to be able to stop the clock by downing the ball offensively. But I think he made a real good choice. Now, of course, it's on his defense now to stop the Jets on this 3rd down and give Boomer Esiason another chance.
The Jets with a record of 2 up and 7 down. For all intents and purposes, just playing out the schedule. But Cincinnati with a very difficult schedule, still alive as they look for a playoff spot. But look at that slate: Detroit, Pittsburgh, and at Cleveland, at San Diego.
But they have 4 out of their last 6 at home, and you know, you got to feel like you got a better chance at home.
Nagel off the run, and he's picked off. What does Mathis make the catch? Darrell Williams with the interception.
Well, Nagel makes another bad decision here, and he's made a few of them in the 4th quarter. He's out of the pocket. He throws the ball down the middle of the field there, and, you know, there's 3 Cincinnati guys there against one of the Jet defenders. And when you do that, you just give your opponents another chance to win the game.
The pass intended for Mathis. Darrell Williams, first-round draft pick out of Miami, coming up with his 3rd interception of the season. So Cincinnati takes over, and it's Fenner running well. A first down and more. R.J. Coors on the stop. Fenner goes for 23 yards.
Well, that's the same play Fenner just ran for a touchdown. Now, Cincinnati needs a touchdown and a field goal, and there they go with that draw again, and the Jets are having a hard time with that particular play, particularly when Cincinnati spreads out.
Mercero made the stop on Fenner, so Derek Fenner getting the ball in the second half. He's carried 6 times for 68 yards and has scored a touchdown. 2nd and 4, down at the 17. Fenner being led by Munoz. Fenner for the touchdown. He went 17 yards, and this game has turned. With 5:21 remaining in the 4th quarter, the Bengals now trail 17-13.
Well, as I said before, Bruce Kozlov has to be very nervous now. The momentum is all on Cincinnati's side. And, you know, the Jets really gave Cincinnati that opportunity for a touchdown.
Nagel intercepted, giving the ball back. Breach with the extra point, and the Jet lead is down to 3 with 5:21 remaining in the 4th quarter, and the crowd turning now on the Jets. You can hear the boos.
Well, the best thing that Cincinnati has going for it now, they still have 2 timeouts remaining, and they have the 2-minute warning. So it comes down right now to the Jets team being able to run the clock out or put Cincinnati in field position to where they don't have the time to drive for the score.
3 plays, 44 yards in 49 seconds for the touchdown. The 3 plays were rushes by Derek Fenner.
Well, I think when you spread the field like Boomer did there, Boomer's a smart quarterback. He knows what's going on coverage-wise. When you spread the field, you have the opportunity to break a run against man-to-man defense, and that's what was happening. The defensive backs had their backs turned. Fenner's running the draw up the middle, making big yards, and then they pitch it to him on a sweep. Now Bruce Kozlov just had a meeting with his offense, and you can be sure they have specific instructions as to what the Jets' strategy is going to be here with 5:21 to go.
Lee Johnson will kick off to the combination of Eric McMillan and Terrence Mathis. Remember last week, Cincinnati came from way back to win in overtime in Chicago. Here is Mathis. Mathis brings across the 30 under pressure. You know, Cincinnati wanted to go for the ball. Roosevelt Nix made the stop.
You know, Bruce Kozlov's a little upset that their defense gave up such a quick touchdown. You know, he wanted to make sure Cincinnati used a little more time, but now it's the Jets offense and Cincinnati putting their 3rd safety in there. The Jets have 3 tight ends in, And the Bengals put number 34, Fernandez Vincent, in as the third safety.
Here's Baxter. And again, a short pickup, and the crowd reacting to the play selection. Tim Crumry on the tackle with just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the play selection. What has to happen here, the offensive line has to block the Bengals well enough to get a couple of first downs.
Second down and 7. Now Pat Chafee, the lone deep back. Browning Nagel using as much of the clock as he can. There's Chafee. Again, not much. Tripped up by Gary Reasons.
Well, we got the biggest play of the game coming up right now, Marv. 3rd down and 5 for the Jets. Cincinnati's defense can stop them. Their offense has the opportunity to go down for the winning touchdown. If the Jets can if the Jets can make the first down and convert it, then they're going to start forcing Cincinnati to use all their timeouts.
Nagel is only 8 for 24, 98 yards, intercepted twice. 3rd down and 5 at the 37. 3:45 remaining. And a timeout taken by Browning Nagel.
I think it's a smart call by Nagel. He wants to make sure that he knows exactly what Bruce Coslett wants in this situation. So he used that timeout to go over there and find out. You know, he couldn't afford to make another mistake at this time in the game.
When we resume, it will be a 3rd and 5 for the Jets at their 37-yard line. At one point, they led 17-0. But Cincinnati has come roaring back. They went to the hurry-up in this fourth quarter, and they have been able to cash in. And Bill, you look back, that early field goal missed by Cary Blanchard looms even larger. Missed that 27-yard field goal early in the game.
But Jim Reach missed one for Cincinnati, too, and so, you know, you can kind of call that a horse apiece.
Nagel couldn't find anyone. Looking to run for the first down. Let's see where they spot it. Cincinnati arguing about the spot. It's right at the marker. And the officials conferring they will measure. First, the determination of the spot where Nagel went out.
Well, Nagel's taking a knee at the middle of the field there. I don't know whether he hurt himself on that run there, but this is a very big measurement.
First down. Nagel shaken up. Now Ken O'Brien came on last week at the end of the half to run a 2-minute drill and was picked off.
Nagel out of contain there. He's almost tackled by number 56, McDonald, and he gets. Oh, it looks like he stepped out of bounds before that marker with his right foot there, and I don't know whether the officials saw it or not, but
here the reaction, mixed reaction for the appearance of Ken O'Brien trotting onto the field. Now checks with Browning Nagel to see how he is, and it looks like Nagel will depart. What was your reaction last week to Bruce Coslett? In curious fashion going to O'Brien when the Jets have made the commitment in the direction of Browning Nagel, yet he brings O'Brien out at the end of the half to run the 2-minute drill.
Well, I think it was just one less thing for Nagel to worry about, and I think Bruce Coslett feels like he can do that, and I agree with him. I think if O'Brien gives you a better chance in a certain situation like that, you should use him, and that's what he did.
Well, Nagel picked up the first down. O'Brien has come on. It's a first down for the Jets at their 42. 3:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Chafee once again getting the call. Jets have not gone with Freeman McNeil here in the second half. And we checked it out. No injury involved. Just a coach's decision.
3 yards to go.
Well, Browning-Nagel on that last first down, looks like his right foot steps out of bounds before he hits that first down marker. And I think you see there clearly his right foot was out of bounds, but the official missed it and called it a first down.
2nd and 7 at the 45. Well, that looms as a big break for the Jets. And getting the benefit of the doubt for that first down. Here's Chafee pulling away. Eric Thomas made the tackle. Pat Chafee continues to run exceptionally well. That's a 34-yard pickup. And a timeout called by Cincinnati with 2.5 remaining in the fourth quarter.
32-yard gain on the play.
5 carries, 55 yards for Pat Chafee, who coming into today had carried the ball 8 times for 65 yards. That's 8 yards per carry, and he's improved on that.
Well, on that one right there, sometimes when the defense is very bunched up in an attempt to stop a run and play for no gain, you can spring kind of a long run once you crease the line of scrimmage. There aren't any secondary people back there, and that's exactly what happened there with Chafee on that run. The Cincinnati defense was all bunched in there, and he was able to break free for that big game.
Pat Chafee, originally a 5th-round draft pick of Chicago, spent time on the developmental squads of New England and Phoenix. He has been all over. One-time Falcon, and then acquired on Plan B, one of 4 former Atlanta Falcons on the Jet roster. Jets have done a good job on the ground. Blair Thomas sidelined today with an injured groin, but the Jets have run 41 times for 170 yards, and they've done it in the second half without Freeman McNeil. It's been a combination of Brad Baxter, Pat Chafee, McNeil in the first half.
Well, what the Jets want to accomplish now is they want to make sure Cincinnati has no timeouts left. Hopefully drive it for a touchdown, but if a field goal, they want Cincinnati to have nothing left in the timeout.
A.B. Brown once again hit for a loss. Cincinnati tried to jar it loose, but it was recovered by Ken O'Brien. A.B. Brown is having his difficulties. A pop by Fernandez Vinson, and O'Brien was able to get to it.
Well, they were very lucky to avoid this turnover here. Brown's running laterally, and Vincent strips it out. The ball's on the ground. O'Brien misses the recovery, but knocks it right back under A.B. Brown. That would have been a devastating mistake for the Jets hadn't they recovered that ball.
Cincinnati has used its final timeout. Jets have 2 remaining. Hope you stay with us after the conclusion of the Jets and the Bengals for the Old Spice NFL Live postgame report. Bob, O.J. suffered a bruised foot, and that led to Ken O'Brien taking over.
Well, the thing about that fumble there, it also lost yardage and into the wind. The Jets need to get a little closer before they're insured of a field goal.
2:25 remaining in the fourth. Chafee moving inside the 25-yard line. And the clock is running. They'll let it tick down to 2 minutes remaining. It's a 3rd and 12 at the 25-yard line. This is Terry Blanchard, who was hit on 1 of 2. Hit from 42, missed from 27. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. We'll be back after these messages.
To run the ball right into the middle of the field and then use the full 45 seconds if he can without letting the clock run out. Use a timeout there, but take as much time off as you can and then set up the field goal for Blanchard.
3rd and 12. Bengal 25.
It's a 3rd and 12 at the Bengal 25-yard line. So the play clock running down to 10. Oh. Well, they run it for Chafee. He gets to the 20-yard line. Clock is running. Cincinnati out of timeouts.
I think Ken O'Brien's telling the official exactly how far he wants to let the clock go down now before that timeout's called. He's standing right next to Gary laying there, and he's saying, hey, when it gets to right here, we want the timeout.
This would be a 36-yard field goal attempt for Blanchard, who missed from 27, hit from 42. And there is the timeout with 1 second on the play clock.
Well, that's exactly what I would have done if I was Bruce Coslett. Now he has to ensure that the protection is good, because a blocked field goal here and Cincinnati picks it up, they win the game with the return. So this is one way you can lose the game also. But if Blanchard is able to make this with no timeouts remaining, I think it'd be very difficult for Boomer to go the full length of the field with just a minute to go. You know, had he had a couple left, he might have been able to do it, but it's very difficult to go the length of the field with no timeouts.
For the season, Cary Blanchard, first-year player from Oklahoma State, is 11 out of 14. Last week in Denver, hit 3 out of 5. He had 1 block. He had a stretch of 9 in a row stopped. The man who replaced Jason Starofsky and did a nice job. It's a 36-yard attempt. O'Brien puts it down. No good.
Well, the Bengals are still alive now. That changes the situation. Now Boomer has to go. You see the field goal's being pulled to the left just a little bit right here by Blanchard. And Boomer's got to figure he's got to get the ball to the Jet 30-yard line. He's got a minute to do it. He's going to have to stop the clock by downing the ball during this drive.
Cincinnati from its 20. That was almost intercepted by Brian Washington.
The Jets took that double safety blitz at Boomer again, and that's been the most successful blitz they've had. And Boomer misread it and threw the ball. And, you know, Brian Washington was just going the other way, and the ball got behind him. But
Esiason 9 of 26, only 89 yards. Took a deep drop, goes sideline, and able to complete. Jeff Query made the catch, has a first down, covered by Lonnie Young. The clock is stopped with 58 seconds to go.
But that play right there is just exactly the kind of play that the Bengals have to use. An out pattern. Now the Jets need to force those receivers to the inside in this situation.
From the 34, first down, off the punt. Esiason could not find anyone and throws at a crowd intended for the one-time Jet Reggie Rembert.
That same double safety blitz again. I keep saying it, but that's the defense that seems to have the Bengals buffaloed a little bit, and Boomer is having a hard time when those safeties blitz.
2nd and 10 at the 34 with 51 seconds to go in the fourth. Here's a draw play for Fenner. Fenner stopped at the 39. The clock is running. That is the disadvantage of going on the ground, and Cincinnati does not have any timeouts left. It's a 3rd down 5. The Jets 17, Bengals 14. Esiason out of the sideline, and that will stop the clock. Again, it's Query. McMillan on the coverage, so Query with the reception. That is his 2nd of the day, and we now have 24 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter.
If the Jets can just keep the Cincinnati receivers in bounds now for 2 plays, this game will be over. But they cannot let the receivers out of bounds. They've let them out of bounds twice here in this last drive.
Cincinnati with the 4 wideouts. Again to the sideline. Incomplete. Query tried to one-hand it. Took a hit from Coors. 20 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. 2nd and 10 at the 45. Crowd of 60,196 here at Giant Stadium. About 15,000 no-shows. They've watched the Jets jump in front 17-0. They've seen Cincinnati come from behind. Jets 17, Bengals 14. Look out. Esiason able to avoid the sack. Throws it away. Rembert was over at the far side, but Esiason was just trying to avoid that sack attempt, and a Cincinnati player is down. It's Anthony Munoz, who made his return today from a shoulder injury. He had been on injured reserve, and he comes hobbling off. Down to 14 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter.
Now the question is whether this injury, without any timeouts, they have to run some time off the clock. I believe it's a 10-second time off the clock if you have time stopped for an injury when you don't have any timeouts.
That is a charged timeout without penalty. 3rd down.
There, but
well, they changed it to a 3rd down and 10 at the 45-yard line, and we're down to 9 seconds remaining. Pass intended for Tim McGee.
4th and 10 at the 45.
9 seconds remaining and a 4th down play at the 45.
Well, this is almost like a definite prevent now. The only way that Cincinnati has the opportunity is to throw a deep outside pattern that allows the receiver to get out of bounds. And, you know, the Jets know it. They should be able to do a pretty good job defending this one.
Well, last week it was Pickens in the end zone, able to pull it off. And here's Esiason with time running down. He fires for the end zone, intended for Pickens, and it's broken up by several Jets with 1 second remaining. But that a 4th down play for Cincinnati. Bruce Coslett with the indication of 1 second to go. So the Jets able to hold on. They were up 17-0. Cincinnati came back here in the 4th quarter. The Jets will take over at the Bengal 45.
Well, when you're 2-7, nothing's ever easy, and this one wasn't easy for Bruce Coslett and his staff today, but you know, now they've got that 3rd win, and it doesn't matter how you get it as long as you do.
So the Jets go to a record of 3-7, despite an 8 of 24 for only 98 yards by Browning Nagel. The Bengals 4-6 with the loss here today. The Jets doing it on the ground, led by Brad Baxter, who rushed for 72, and Pat Chafee, who went for 64. We'll be back in just a moment. 17-14. Now time for the Hager wrinkle-free cotton super play of the game. We flash back to the third quarter. And a key play. This put the Jets up 17-0. McNeil on the reverse from Mathis, who goes to the right side for 10 yards and the touchdown. Jets had a 17-0 lead at that point, but the Bengals able to come back in the fourth quarter. So that wraps things up. The Jets now 3 up, 7 down. The Bengals at 4 and 6. Stay tuned now for the Old Spice NFL Live postgame report with the latest in all the action from around the league. For Bill Parcells, this is Marv Albert saying so long from the New Jersey Meadowlands.